Alright, for writing equations, here are some notes you can take. First step, write what your variable stands for. For instance, x could stand for the number of weeks. Second, write an equation. An equation is just a true statement with an equal sign. And then third, we want to solve for the variable. And we'll use inverse operations to do that. Alright, pause the video if you need extra time. Alright, let's practice with an example. Alright, example 1. The sale price is $64. This price is 30% less than the original price. What was the original price? Alright, take a second to copy down that question. Alright, so now we're going to run through our steps. Our first step is to find out our variable. The variable is just what don't you know? Well, we know the sale price. We don't know the original price. So my first step is I'm going to let x equal the original price of the item. Alright, that's not too bad. We're on step 2 now. In step 2 we're going to write an equation. This is a little trickier than our first step. But it's just a true statement. So we know what the sale price is. The sale price is $64. So we can start there. So $64 has to be equal to something. And that would be 30% less than the original. Well, if it's 30% less than the original, what am I taking that from? 100%, right? 100% represents the original price. I'm just taking 30% less than that. So 100 minus 30% gives me 70%. And I know whenever I write a percent into an equation, that's right, I should make it into a decimal, so I move it 2 to the left. So I'm going to plug in a 0.7 there instead of a 70. And that's 0.7 of, I could have the word of there, of the original price. So of means what? Multiply. So it's 0.7 times original price is x. So just 0.7x. And is that true? Yeah, $64 equals 70% of the original price. And our third step is just to solve that. So using inverse operations, we're trying to solve for x. So if we multiply by 0.7, we just need to, that's right, divide by 0.7. And 64 divided by 0.7, that gives us about 91.43. It was 91.428, and that 8 rounds the 2 up to a 3, so it would be 91.43. And the reason I rounded it to 2 decimal spots is because it's how many cents. Cents goes to, there's 100 cents in a dollar, so I go to the second decimal place. So 91.43 equals x. And we have our solution. Alright, let's try another example. Alright, take a second to jot down example 2. Jamie has $475 in the bank. He withdraws $25 each month to pay for a gym membership. How many months can he afford with his savings? Pause the video if you need more time. Alright, so break it down into our steps. Our first step is, what do we not know? Well, the question says how many months can he afford with his savings? So x should stand for, we're going to say let x be the number of months. Or we could even let it be m. That may make more sense. So let m equal the number of months. Number of months that he's paying for his gym membership. Alright, so our second step is let's write an equation using that variable. Well, I know his total's $475, and I know he needs $25 each month. So that means like groups of. Remember what groups of means? Yeah, groups of means multiply. So we have 25 groups, and months is M, so 25M, or 25 times M, is going to give us a total of, we only have $475. So does that make sense? 24 groups of however many months that is going to deplete our savings account of 475 because we want to use exactly however much is in there. Alright, so that makes sense for our second step. Third step is just to solve it. So inverse operations, we're multiplying by 25, the inverse is dividing. So divide by 25, and M is going to equal 19. So it'd be 19 months. And then just see if that makes sense. And you could work backwards, just plug it back in. So 19 times 25 should give you 475, and it works. All right, let's try one more example, example 3. All right, take a second to copy down example 3. The perimeter of a rectangle is 45 centimeters. The length is 3 centimeters less than twice the width. Find the length and the width. Alright, now that you have that copied down, our first step is to define our variable. Now this one's a little different because it looks like we have two variables. But if you look a little more carefully, it says the length is, so that tells us the length is 3 centimeters less than twice the width. Notice that the length is defined in terms of the width. So in other words, if we let W stand for the width of the rectangle, then whenever we write the expression for length, and I'll go ahead and show you, the length is going to be, it says the length is means equals, it's 3 centimeters less than. Remember, less than means you subtract it from something. So we're going to subtract 3 from something. What are we subtracting it from? Twice the width. Well, we already know width stands for what? W. And twice the width means 2W. So notice we really only have one variable here, since they're related to each other. Okay, so the length is 2W minus 3. The width is just W. Alright, so we're getting somewhere. The second step is to write our equation. I think this one's a little easier if you draw it out. So if we draw a rectangle and label what we know. So let one of your sides be the width, the other side is the length, 2W minus 3. And do you remember what perimeter means? Perimeter is when it's the sum of all the sides. So that means you add all the sides. Alright? So opposite sides of a rectangle are the same, so it's 2W minus 3 over there, it's W over here, because opposite sides are the same. So I just need to add up all 4 of those sides and set it equal to 45. I went ahead and changed my perimeter to 48. Just so this would come out as an integer value. So let's go ahead and do 2W minus 3 plus 2W minus 3 plus W and set it all equal to 48, our perimeter. Alright, so we have our equation, and all that means is we just added all 4 sides, our first side, our second side, third and fourth side, and that equals our perimeter of 48. So that makes sense. That's true. So our third step is just to solve that. So I'm going to box and circle my like terms. So I have 2W plus 2W. Notice I'm boxing the sign in front of the like term. And I'm just simplifying that left side. So 2W plus 2W plus 1W plus 1W gives us 6W. And then a minus 3 and a minus 3 gives us a minus 6. Now it's just a two-step equation. So Inverse operations, we want to add 6, 6w is going to be 54, and then divide by 6, and 54 divided by 6 is 9, so w equals 9. And now I look back at my question, it said find the length and the width. Well, we know w stands for the width, so I can plug in a 9 back here for the width. And then the length is 2 times 9 minus 3. So I just plugged in the 9 for w. So 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 3 is 15. Alright, so we solved example 3. Now you know all 3 steps.